Nobody buy the PPX. It's too ugly to buy.
What did you do? Get rid of it already?
Oh,
Did you see that they had the stainless model for just $10 more now?
it was $20 more, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was $2.99. So
Yeah, I
Have you
can't
shot it
get it
yet?
for some.
Oh, you shot a bunch
Yeah,
through it already.
you should just get
110
that.
rounds.
You should get the stainless model too, and you'll have dual wielding PPXs.
Uh,
Well, it's probably stainless under whatever coating is there. You could always just polish the heck out of it and have a
it's
stainless.
Tinifer, actually. It's same coating Glock uses, Tinifer.
Yeah, but I'm OCD. Like the problem with that for me is the serial number won't reflect a stainless model. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'll Cerakote something, but I don't know. It's weird. OCD.
Yeah, I was hoping to get out to the range,
I'm crazy.
Monday between the raindrops before it got cold, but my night sights aren't here yet, so that ain't happening.
Yeah, our range is open Sunday. There's no scheduled events. There's no scheduled events tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll be back in time to actually go. Tomorrow's would be the best day, but I have our family Christmas get together, so I don't know how long that's going to last.
Yeah. Well, this weekend's, for weather-wise, it's going to be nice for this time of year, up in the 40s, which is going to be really nice. But without the night, at least putting the front night sight on there, which I can do relatively simple, and try it out. My sights aren't here, and my mail doesn't come till like 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'd be able to do it tomorrow, and Packers play Sunday, so I could go to the range either before. Well, it'd have to be before the game, but
I don't know if you guys have seen this article or not, but you might want to check it out.
yeah. But then my other choice is, if it comes Monday, which it says they're gonna be here, because it's taking an extended tour of the Midwest for some reason. Don't know why. I guess it wants to radiate to all the Midwest while it's on its way here. I would not be able to go Monday. And then Tuesday, the high is supposed to be 20. Screw that. Hey, Alan. Oh, Moon, I was reading early this week through Patriot News. They're talking about how the Pennsylvania Attorney General is not taking up any pro-gun lawsuits.
Yeah, she's gonna have to go.
I think I read the same thing. You got some crazy stuff happening over in Pennsylvania. I saw.
I mean, it's the law now. They can't argue against it. It's too bad for them. They lost. We won. It wasn't really like a battle. I didn't even know about it, to be honest with you. And it was something that our governor signed into law right before he left. And now magistrates and townships and people with ordinances that differ from the state constitution have to deal with it.
I say bullshit.
They had some weird ordinances in these towns. Like the one I can't remember that was super ridiculous, but one was brandishing in a parking lot, like fighting over a parking space. They made like an ordinance against that, using a gun, like it happens all the time. Or
So they're gonna create a law against every possible situation that somebody could brandish a firearm. That's
it. Well,
I guess I wouldn't put it past them.
A town can try to create any ordinance.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
But yeah, it'll be overturned by a judge if it doesn't jive with the state constitution.
In the meantime, some poor schmuck is gonna get locked up over that.
But this is the good part. Now they have the right to sue. So if some poor schmuck does get locked up, then they can sue and have all their attorneys that they can sue that magistrate.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And win. Like it's like a automatic win. Because the magistrate or the township or whatever holds the ordinance won't win against that law.
Right.
So now they're trying to get rid of their law. Some townships are trying to get rid of them. Some of them are trying to keep them. But most of them know better. They're trying to get rid of them because they know it's going to cost them money. It's going to start to cost them money and litigation and stuff like that.
I need to brush up on my East Coast civics. Not quite sure how townships and magistrates and all of that work. I'm trying to compare that to what we have here in my head, and I'm drawing a blank.
They're like little
magistrate
chunks
like
of counties. Little chunks of counties. Basically.
Okay. So what's the magistrate? Is that like I think judge when I hear magistrate. Is that like the mayor?
Like a mini judge.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Interesting.
Like, for example, one time I may or may not have gotten into trouble in North Carolina, and we were still in the county, so to speak, but we were like at a satellite, you know what I'm saying, satellite station, and the magistrate had the last word on whether we go to the county or we go home. And we don't need to talk about what happened, but let's say the magistrate, he might be like a police officer sometimes, but it seems like he's a judge, if you ask me, for like the little areas.
Yeah, a lot of them around here are lawyers.
Okay.
Mostly. And then,
are they like volunteer positions?
Not really. I mean, they're getting paid something from the township.
Well, I mean, sorry for the diversion there. I just
no, that's cool.
Because you hear these terms, and people here on the West Coast, we don't. I don't know that we have that.
For example, when our magistrate, or the magistrate that I had to deal with, like he was there after hours. It was like 12 o'clock at night or something, so it wasn't like regular court time or anything. But he was there at the police station. So that like might be his shift or something like that, and he decides whether, like I said, you can either get taken care of at the satellite, or if you got to go to county to finish the rest of your processing.
So he does your initial arraignment kind of thing. Gotcha.
It wasn't even anything that heavy duty, but yes, in some other instances, I'm sure that's what he does.
It's almost like a district attorney deciding whether they're going to press charges.
And when I say town, I mean city. Like they're considered cities, but they're little tiny towns. You know what I mean? All strung together.
That's the way it was when I lived in North Carolina.
The city creates the ordinance, and the magistrate upholds it or whatever. And then it's up to them whether they want to enforce it or not. So.
Well, that's cool. I mean, for those that don't know what that means, I guess that's probably valuable. It helps me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the East Coast is way too British, if you ask me.
Well, if you think about how big, like either Philadelphia or Pittsburgh is, like any large city. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, on. So what else is shaking, law-wise there?
That's about it. I mean, I don't see nothing else pro-gun. I don't see anybody trying to repeal, like, the handgun transfers.
Well, I do have some stats for you guys if you want to hear them. Pew Research Center conducted a survey December 3rd through the 7th, and I still have not found out how many people they actually surveyed. But this is a survey from they've done surveys from the time Newtown happened till now.
Hold on a second. Is that in that article that I linked you? Because there is some stuff in there regarding that. If not, if you could put a link up, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's basically the same.
What I read earlier was that it was in our favor,
Yes, 52 to 46%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the story that I linked you is referencing that. It must be.
Yep.
Yes, it is. It's a two-year survey. Gun control, 2 years ago was at 57%, and now in our favor was 34%. The highest spike was 66 to 29, and now it's 52-46. After 2 years.
Yeah, we had a I don't know if you'd call it a school shooting. I don't know all the details. Here in town, there was some shots fired at some kids, and they went into a school. They think it's gang related, so it'd be interesting to see if that makes the news much at all.
I think there's a lot of closet gun lovers out there.
Yeah, and here's basically
they're just afraid to come out of the closet.
Yeah, the way that they worded the questions they were asked, do you favor protecting the right of Americans to own guns or to control gun ownership? So that's a 52 to 46%. That's the question we were basically asked.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the gun sales and stuff that happened after Sandy Hook. There's a lot of people that keep their feelings about guns to themselves. Maybe they, have a lot of liberal friends, or they work around a lot of liberal types, and they just don't want to come out and out themselves.
I'll give you an example. All right, I posted my AR pistol, my last build, the last time I got that, and one of my friends who was also into guns, but I don't really talk to him that much, he liked it and commented on it and then deleted it. I guess he realized other people could see what he commented and liked on. So I thought that was a little weird. He was ashamed of it.
He didn't want him to come get him.
Huh.
And he's not like the paranoid type or anything like that. It's just like, seemed like he was trying to hide it from maybe his more liberal family or friends.
Do any of you happen to live in an area where it's not mandatory registration?
What do you mean?
Where it's not mandatory to register your firearms?
Yes, in Wisconsin.
It's illegal to register them here.
Okay. How about you, Sandy?
I missed the question I was typing. What was that?
Oh, no worries. I was just wondering if you happen to live in an area where it's mandatory registration of firearms.
No.
Okay.
No, the most we have to do here is fill out a 4473.
Yeah.
It is mandatory here, but it's funny. About 2 years ago, they added a law to the state constitution or whatever, basically saying that in a time of natural disaster or whatever, kind of like a backlash from what happened in Katrina, where the police were or were not, depending on who you talk to, going down the registration rolls and going and picking up people's firearms. Well, they made a law out here saying that would be illegal to do that now out here. But at the same time, I feel that I'm glad that they made that a law to say that it would be illegal for them to do that to us. But I don't have full comfort in knowing that they could kind of change their mind if their needs suited it.
You mean you don't trust your government?
It's not that I don't trust them. I just don't believe everything they tell me.
Right. I guess
slight difference.
There's a slight difference.
Only idiots believe everything the government tells them.
So let me ask you this, Island: do they also have restrictions or regulations or what have you to preclude anybody from making those registration lists public?
That I haven't looked into. I hate to say that I would assume, but I do, because the police are the only ones that are supposed to have the registration. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally it's at the police station that you go register and everything. You have to take your firearm in and all this and that, and I think they photograph it and they write down the serial number and you get your own little file, which is great.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes, and as I was talking last night or the night before about how you had to do the class in order to get the permit to purchase, and the first time you have to go in, you get mugshotted and fingerprinted. So I'm sure I have the cute little file at Maui PD, and it's got all my pertinent information, my mugshot, my electronic fingerprints, all of that. I'm sure of it. Which is a bummer, but if I want to own firearms legally here, those are the hoops that I must jump through. And being able to pass the background check and all of these things, you know, not being a fucking criminal basically is allowing me to enjoy firearms ownership.
But that's basically true for all 50 states. So, you know.
Yeah. You see Never Enough's latest?
No.
I
Talking about that
watched
same
about,
subject.
Yeah.
It came up in
Yeah.
my feed, but I didn't get to watch it yet.
Yeah. I watched about half of it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to agree with the rest of what he says. Why watch the rest of it? Because I agree with everything he was saying, you know, about, you know, if you're, you know, basically what he said. Now I can run it down, you know, in my own words. It's going to be a lot worse than how Matt phrased it. There we go. I can actually speak now. Basically, that, you know, if you are deemed, you know, by the, you know, judge or jury in the, you know, the situation of being such a violent person that you can't, you know, own firearms or, you know, have the right to vote. You know, you lose, you know, some of your, you know, your rights. Then you should be locked away in prison forever. But if you can get released from, you know, from jail, then your rights should be restored to you. And I've been a believer of that the whole time.
Well, it depends on what your rate of recidivism is. If you get out and then all of a sudden within 6 months you're fucking up so bad that you're back in, I don't think that you should get your rights back within the first 6 months.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
commented.
always why, you know, you've got to do your whole term. Say you know you're put on probation for 7 years after you're released. You can't, you know, you don't, your rights aren't restored until those 7 years are up. You know, that proves
Well,
that
that's just it. They don't take all of your rights away. They suspend some of your rights, right?
yeah,
Right to
the
vote,
right to vote.
right to own guns, and you know, certain things like that. But they don't
Yeah,
they don't
you lose your right
suspend
to
all of your you know, rights that are in the Bill of Rights.
Correct.
That is true. That is true.
But you know, as far as it goes, you know, the comment I put up there was, you know, it's a matter of trust on society's part. And do you know, can you trust that a violent criminal, you know, is not going to do the same thing after he's served his sentence, right? So basically, to make long story shorter, I said that, you know, if they have to wait 10 years to prove themselves, hey, they were the ones that screwed up, so it's on them to prove themselves. And at that point, I'm cool with it.
Did you
normally
say your state is 10 years?
No.
No,
I was using that as an example.
For certain felonies, yeah, and there's other ones that you can't get expunged, but
Oh, okay.
Right. I'm going off, you know, your probation term. You know, if you did your full term in prison, then there should be like a tag on there. You've got to be, you know, X number of years old. But if you're put on probation for, you know, 7 years, 3 years, 1 year, if you can prove you're an outstanding citizen for that point in time, in other words, not being arrested again, not being shipped back to jail, then your rights should be restored.
yeah, or even just average.
Mm-hmm.
Blending right in. And unfortunately,
I'm fine with that.
With the
You know,
recidivism
nonviolent.
rate being so high, like it is, you know, that it's unfortunate that they get out. And I say they, I mean, I'm generalizing. I'm using a big brush on that. But if they get out, sometimes the only place that they can go back to is kind of the same situation potentially that got them put in the first place. You know, it's more difficult to find work or a better area to live in, or, you know, all those things. Now, I agree that if you do the crime, you do the time. You know, you were the one that chose to break the law.
Well,
But-
and you also not to cut you off, but you also chose not to take advantage of the myriad of opportunities that are out there in the social safety net, right, to improve your lot in life. I mean,
or even in prison,
you don't have that excuse. You don't get that excuse that you just, I'm going to go right back where I came from. Well,
right.
you
In
should.
prison, you're given the ability to improve your chances to succeed on the outside by with classes and different
yeah.
things. I mean, if you didn't have a high school education, you can get your GED in prison.
Well, and
You
there's
can go
not
farther
only
than
that. I mean, you make the choice whether or not you pay attention in school. You
Yeah.
make the choice whether or not you get involved with the guys on the street corner or not. You make those choices, right?
That is true. That is
And
very
so,
true.
using the excuse that you came from a crappy neighborhood and didn't have any prospects in life, it just doesn't fly. There's too many examples of people that have come out of that,
Yep.
in a positive way.
Yes.
So
I agree.
Yeah, that's just
Basically, I guess I was just getting at the reason that it's such a high ratio of recidivism is because sometimes those people are put back in those situations,
Right.
and that they haven't obviously made the right choices.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
hear you. I hear you.
yeah,
You can have
correctional-
shitty parents and grow up poor and all of that. I understand all of that.
Yeah, and you got to remember the correctional institution. Although they have classes there to set up to improve your life, it's up to the person to do so. It's also set up so that you can learn to be a better crook.
Well, I've heard the term college for criminals before, but I think that was in a movie, and I kind of took it with a grain of salt.
Well, it's just like anything else. I mean, where you are in your situation, it's up to you to make the best of it or not. I mean, you could complain about your job, or you could get up early and look forward to doing it and do the best you can and better yourself, right? Or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like the choices right there. It's like it's either bootstrap time, or cruise control time, or it's time to be a troublemaker.
Or a slacker, right? Exactly.
You kind of got a couple of choices there. You can either just try and cruise through, or you can bust your ass, or you can, go the other way,
right?
The dark side, so to speak.
And there are going to be people that are just going to choose to be that career jailbird. They're just going to keep, keep going, doing the revolving door because that's all they know.
Right. And the other side of that too, when you talk about whether you get your gun rights back or not, and time and all of this. Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna take the unfortunately back and just say that our criminal justice system it can't be a custom tailored suit for every individual. It kind of has to be a one size fits all as you come through the door, right? The rules apply evenly across the board. Otherwise, they would be so bogged down they would never get anything done.
Yeah.
And so
I think,
having to apply a rule like you got to wait X number of years to everybody is just easier for them.
Yes, whereas it would need
less
to be
costly.
case by case. Yeah, it
It's
would
less
definitely
costly to society too.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember too, our correctional institution is run by corporations, not by.
I was gonna say the fact that it's privatized now for the most part, and it's money to basically do that. They're getting paid.
Right. That's
one
of the reasons why we're
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that because here's the thing: the money that pays the jailers comes out of the budget, the taxes that the people pay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's not in the best interest of judges and district attorneys and all of those guys to put as many people in jail as possible. That's just ridiculous.
And sadly, our system.
But it seems like the laws sometimes are set up to do such things for non.
Well, now you're back to that one size fits all mentality, and the reasons I gave the reasons for it. I may be wrong, but I just don't buy into that. It's because it's privatized. It's got to be bad.
No. I don't think that it's bad. I just think that it is part of it. I don't think that it is the sum of the whole for sure. There are many reasons that you might actually be a criminal, and that's why you're going to prison. As opposed to you made the mistake. You shouldn't have been drunk and driving that third time. You chose to do it. Well, this time It's a felony, and now there's actual, a prison term attached to it.
Yeah, and you're going to go to jail whether it's a private jail or if it's a public jail.
Absolutely.
Well, there's actually been cases in Pennsylvania where there's these youth facilities.
I saw that.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a boot camp.
So they kind of grease the politicians, you know what I mean? And the politicians, or the elected officials.
Did they end up indicting the one of the judges and one of the district attorneys or whatever because they were getting money unofficially from one of the youth type prisons or something like that?
All right.
Yeah, and they were taking kids. They were just taking kids for the smallest infractions for like 9 months away from their home and family and putting them into these
I hear you, but that has to be the
rehabilitation
exception, not the rule.
centers.
Oh, I would agree with that. I mean, I want to believe.
No, they're saying it's all over Pennsylvania. They're saying with every privatized prison and jail, they say they're all up in question.
Then the district attorneys and the judges that are doing this deserve to spend a little time in those facilities as well.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Anybody ever see what was it? Was it Brubaker? Was that the Robert Redford one with Morgan Freeman in it?
I think so. Not much of a movie guy.
I mean, I think if you make a business model out of a prison, you're gonna turn it. It's profit, so you're gonna want to grow that profit.
You got to fill those cots.
It's not the kind of I don't know any kind of business that wants to stay stagnant.
Correct. The more
Well,
prisoners you have in
it's
prison,
kind of you got a ready-made clientele. There's always going to be criminals.
There is, but if crime goes down, then business is bad.
Well, then, yeah, I guess. All right, I'll concede the point, but I still don't think it's right.
I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying you can buy certain people off.
And then I want to believe that the justice system is that. It's just, is what I'm hoping. But we all know that in every department, in every company, so to speak, there's going to be one asshole at least,
That guy.
There's going to be that guy, and depending on what part of the power scale he's on or what rung of the ladder he's on,
sure,
he'll either affect a small amount or he can, depending on how high up it goes, he can affect a greater amount. I mean,
well, as far as it goes, I think that there should be oversight committees that are looking at that stuff, and if there's not, then there's a problem, because I'm all for privatizing stuff. I'm totally with that, but when it comes to state money and the apparent, never-ending well resource, whatever you want to call it. It would be prudent, in my mind, to just set up oversight committees to make, to look at these cases and say, should this guy have really gotten 15 years or whatever, right? If they're not doing that, then they've opened themselves up to that kind of fraud.
Yeah, well, excuse me. One problem too with our prisons anyway, they're too full of people that are, they're a victimless crime. In other words, we're talking about those, with the
pot smokers.
The drug addictions and.
How is that a victimless crime?
Well, I'm saying if you're caught in possession of, an ounce of marijuana in this state, it's a felony, and you're going to, you're going to prison for a while.
That didn't answer my question. How is it a victimless crime?
You're only harming yourself.
Really?
Yes.
What about the guy that got shot over that bag?
But you can't hold the end user responsible. That's the thing. You can't hold them responsible for how it got there. Or perhaps they might have just found it in the woods, or they grow it themselves.
I was going to say, that shit grows wild sometimes.
Yeah, as somebody who's never taken
my views of
90% of the time, I mean, it's from a dealer or something like that, but
my views on that are definitely contrary to a lot of people's. I think
definitely
a little old school when it comes to that, And so the whole purpose of making the user, right, making that person the target is because they're easier to catch. And if you dry up the supply of users, right? I mean, it's kind of a dumb
Well,
way
you want
to
to
do it,
dry
but
up
it's really
the
what do they have, right? Without users, you're not going to catch the dealers. So
if you want to dry up the supply of users, then you make it legal. And I'm going to say this from a person who's never tried marijuana, never took an illegal drug. I just can't see, there being any kind of
Well, in some states
crime
are
for that.
more harsh on
Yes.
penalties for that too. You know, the 2 joints 2 years policy in some states, 2 seeds 2 policy, or two seeds 2 years policy that some states have had in the past. To me, it seems excessive, yes, but at the same time, I understand what you're saying, Sandy. Is a crime is still a crime, and committing the crime makes you a criminal, and if you're a criminal, you gotta, you pay the price. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and also you get rid of that temptation of making, from making it illegal to turning it legal. I'm going to use the drinking age here of 21 as the example here. Back when it was 18, there were 16 and 17-year-olds breaking the rule. Now it's 21, you've got 16, 17 through 20 breaking the rule. But once you turn that age, drinking kind of loses its special place. At least, that was the situation for me. It's like, oh, this isn't as fun anymore. I still enjoy a beer every once in a while, but I don't, do like I did when I was, 19.
right.
Taking and, getting drunk out of my mind because, well, it's not supposed to be doing it.
I think when you prohibit something, you create an irregular demand for it. Because when it's prohibited, people tend to, go to it more and buy it more because at any time it could go away. Just like they did before an assault weapons ban could come down. They went out and bought all the ARs.
Just a rumor of prohibiting them.
That. So it creates an irregular demand from when things are readily available, and they're always there for if you want it or whatever. But it's a lot easier to pass up because it's always going to be there.
Yeah, we just went through 2 years of it. It's a good example.
Now, as far as the going after the users and all of that, there are some pretty ridiculous penalties out there. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, people are doing a lot of nefarious crap when it comes to drugs. Either the users breaking into people's cars, into their homes, taking money out of their mom's purse, whatever it happens to be. As well as the more serious the stuff that goes on in getting that particular drug to that user. And so, I'm sorry, but some stuff just got to be illegal, right? I mean, otherwise you got anarchy.
Yeah, but make it legal. You tax it. Guess what? The government makes money. You clear out the.
What happened? What's happening right now in Washington and Colorado and places like where they made it legal is they've got so much taxes on it and everything else, plus the storefronts have to pay rent and electricity and pay employees, that to buy that pot, it's more expensive than it is out on the street. And so people are still buying it out on the street.
Well, then the law's flawed. It's not legal. It's not totally legal. It's not like, I don't know.
I don't think it would matter.
I'm just going to bring out what happened in,
you know what I'm saying? It's supply and demand, and it's also you've got free market economy. And
does it even have to be federally regulated if it was legalized?
I'm just going to say this, Sandy. Then you have the situation of selling, loose cigarettes on the street in New York.
I missed part of that. What was that?
You got to say, the guy that just died, and talking about the cop not getting indicted, for choke holding that black guy because he was selling single cigarettes, untaxed.
Well, I don't want to get into that whole deal.
Well, what I'm saying is that you got you still have it going on, with cigarettes, which have been regulated for how long?
Oh, okay. All right, I'm with you. Yeah, and that proves my point, right?
There are
Untaxed
still going to be
cigarettes.
people that break the law, but
Right.
what does it allow? It allows the law-abiding citizen who was going to break the law to purchase that marijuana now to get it legally.
Okay, and they're willing to pay a premium for that guarantee, I guess.
Of not
Correct.
getting busted or not getting shot or robbed or anything like that, not having to go to the rough side of town.
So how do you know that bud really did come from a legal source? I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, no, and that's exactly the point.
It's
That's why they made
regulated.
it. Well, that's also why they made it recreational use allowed, as in you can be standing on the street in certain areas and fire it up, from my understanding.
Hmm.
Whereas before, there was no allowance for any of that. If it was medical issuance, you kind of had to be in a private setting and things like that. You couldn't be just strolling down the street. To my knowledge, I don't know for sure on any part of that though.
I
Really,
mean, a lot
In
of
your
people
home where
challenge
you're not
that,
going
I've
to
seen.
put anybody at risk but yourself. I'm cool with that.
Now there was people that went to the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia and smoked as medical marijuana patients to prove a point.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got arrested. I can't remember.
Yeah. Do I want to see everything in this on this planet taxed? But no, tax is a necessary evil.
so then could they make smoking it legal, but purchasing it illegally the crime, so to speak? You know what I'm saying? I guess.
Well,
And even if you
they
try
kind of got away from the point I was trying to get to anyway, which was if you're going to make something legal, and the excuse you're going to use to make it legal is that you're going to dry up the illegal supply, when in fact all it does is create more demand for those guys, because now you can smoke it and possess it anywhere and not worry about getting caught. Why not buy that dime bag from the guy on the street corner when it's 50% of the cost of going to a store and buying it? That's the point I was trying to make.
That's
And I would
why
agree.
those are the
And-
flaws in the law, though. It wouldn't
Yes.
be totally legalized. It would be regulated. Why would it have to be even regulated?
But you get the same thing. I
It's
mean,
because so many
even-
people would use
It's
it that
because
they can tax it.
the excuse was, we'll make it legal, we'll tax it. And they sold it to
Exactly.
the voters that way. Hey, we'll tax it. It'll be a great
Steve,
thing.
but even
Yeah,
to
it's-
this day, how long has the ATF been around? We got still people making moonshine.
Well, moonshine
And
is legal to
still-
make as long as you don't sell it. You're allowed
Yeah,
to
you
make
can do that.
a certain amount of liquor yourself.
Right,
As
but
long as
I'm
you
talking
are
about
not
for
selling.
the process of selling.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
still do that.
So ideally,
I'm
the
just
business
saying,
you want to
yeah.
be in is selling pot growing supplies.
Hey, there you go.
See? Grow lights and
Hydroponics.
Yes. Now, what I'm getting at here, though, is that no matter what law you pass, you're still going to have people doing stuff illegally because, maybe it's a little bit cheaper, maybe it's a thrill of doing it that gets the person off. There are a lot of reasons to do stuff illegally instead of doing it legally, and that's human nature. You can't get rid of everything, but you can eliminate some of the problems. These people that would normally be law-abiding citizens, except they have to go buy their, dime bag of pot down at the, down at the bad corner, bad section of town, because they enjoy smoking it recreationally.
see, the thing is that I would more easily support that whole idea if, like you guys said, right, that you just decriminalize it 100%. That would get rid of the illegal trade. But as soon as you get government involved, and as soon as you start putting a tax on it, which these guys set themselves up for this, okay, the pot lobby in general, they've set themselves up to be in bed with the government on this deal because that was the only way they could sell it to the voters.
Right. That was the only way.
You've got a
Yeah,
situation where you still have an illegal market, and the tax receipts are actually, not as they weren't what was promised. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I thought it was
Now-
still in the millions of dollars of tax revenue, though, generated in Washington
Oh,
and in
yeah.
Colorado.
Colorado's like 50
I guarantee you,
million
if you look
in
at
taxes.
the estimates and the reality,
Yeah, the
Oh,
estimates
yeah.
were
A lot
supposed to
No,
be
less.
higher
they
for
were talking
Colorado.
They were talking hundreds of millions of dollars is what they were expecting, and I
They
think
got
that they
50
got like
something, yeah.
50 something. Yeah.
Yeah, and still got to pay for all the extra people they brought on to administer all that crap. So I don't know. If they would have just left the government out of it, 100%, said, "Hey, could government take your hands off these laws? We're gonna tear them up, just get rid of them, let people
But
do
the
what they want."
government's
That
got,
would have achieved, I think, a lot more than where we're at now. That's
yeah,
all.
the government's got its paw, its finger, what do you want to call it, and everything
invited
that's
them
legal
in.
in this country.
Exactly.
They invited them in.
Yeah.
Everything that's legal in this country, the government's got, got their hand in
Oh,
there.
I know. That's
Whereas,
So,
what if they made
That's
it
a
legal
problem.
to grow and legal to smoke, but illegal to sell or purchase? What if they would have done it like that? Because then that would dry up the illegal element of the bad guys, so to speak. You would still, not everybody has a green thumb, but if
It's still,
I
you
guess what I'm
come down to
saying,
the same percentage of people
legal
that
to smoke,
cannot.
legal to grow, but illegal to purchase or sell. Because then you wouldn't have to have it taxed either.
But here's the problem
There
with
you
that.
go.
You got the same problem, though. People are going to be buying it illegally because they don't want to take the time. They don't have the ability. They don't have the know-how.
Well, I didn't say anything about bartering. Bartering, there's no tax on bartering.
Hey, I got a bag of dirt. You got some finished
Right.
product?
Right?
You got to remember, marijuana is
Good
just
stuff.
weed.
It's the black gold.
It's just weed.
Take some of that Kona gold for some black gold. Anyway.
No,
Well,
And that question is on every single 4473, isn't it? Are you now or have you ever been addicted to marijuana or any other illegal substance? I swear it's on every single one of them, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, I have a copy of it right here, yeah.
It's not only on that. In my state, you got to fill it. If you're buying a handgun anyway, you got to fill out a form. Can't remember if you have to
Yep.
fill that same form out for a long gun. Because it's been quite a while since I bought a long gun. But for a handgun, you got to fill out two forms: one for the state, one for the one for the feds.
It doesn't say heroin. Doesn't say. I think
No.
that's
Well, they
not
say
on the
yes.
marijuana or any other illegal drugs.
Yeah, but it's just funny that they mentioned the one by name, which is
Yeah.
probably the least hardcore, I guess, out of all the others.
It's the least demonized.
No, I don't know about that. It's one of the most demonized, but
No, it's one of the least demonized in public opinion.
I think it depends on where you live, man, because I've been in a few places in different states where I don't want to call it uptight, it's just different. It's okay to go get drunk on the weekend, but if you were a smoker or something to that effect, well, then you're just not a good person,
Yeah.
according to some of those.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
the
saying? That's all
federal
I'm trying.
government, considers marijuana a worse drug than cocaine.
Which is one of the most ridiculous statements our government has ever made.
Yeah, the classification is
Yes, and
certainly
marijuana's
wrong.
got plenty of health benefits. Cocaine is is also has health benefits, health treatments, but I don't think as useful as marijuana is for a lot more ailments.
Or back to the growing thing, what if you could get a hemp tax stamp, which I guess I'm taxing there again, but you can make food, you can make paper, you can make clothing, you can go back to making rope like they used to. I mean,
You can
canvas.
still grow hemp.
Well, canvas comes from the term cannabis in the first place.
Yes, I know. You can still grow hemp. It's not illegal.
You ever heard of K-pot?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, but I guess back during World War II, they grew a lot of hemp in the South, in Kansas and area. That's where, in that part of the country, and so it basically kind of went wild. I don't know if there's any wild marijuana still out there, but that's where that term came from. Just a little aside.
There you go. Well, I remember hemp used to grow along train tracks because that's how it was transported for the most part back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That also may or may not be where the term ditchweed came from. I'm not sure.
It probably is, yeah.
Yep. All I know is dried fruit. excuse me, Dwight Schrute grew a lot of it on his farm.
I don't know who that is.
Office, The Office. Come on.
Oh, well, Dwight's a nut.
The kids used to sneak on and steal his hemp. It was like the worst stuff they've ever smoked.
Well, that's one of Don Ho's. It's well known out here, but it's not as well known as Tiny Bubbles on the mainland. But he sang a song back in the '70s about it. Who was
Yeah,
the
he
Lolo?
was on, yeah.
Who was the
Tiny
Lolo?
Bubbles, he had to be high.
Well, no, he sang a song. Who was the Lolo that stole my Pakalolo? I saw it in the yard only yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had to be on marijuana to write Tiny Bubbles.
Well, he was singing about champagne, though. I don't see how one affects the other.
Cork was drawing a conclusion based on the alcohol.
Yep. I was doing the government thing. I was actually trying to get, you got to remember the government film on marijuana.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know how you solve this problem. I think the pot thing will eventually shake itself out. Right now, it's kind of
4 states.
kind of ridiculous the way it is right now, but it'll eventually shake itself out.
Yep.
I mean, but really, the only thing that's going to make that happen for sure is if it gets reclassified or unclassified at the federal level and just dealt with,
Federal level, yeah, the feds getting rid of any kind of law.
All right, I know, right?
They really have to take a look at the way it's classified.
That has to start there.
That would be the first step. Is it would have to change from a class 2.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Look at
I'm pretty sure it's a class
It's worse than
It's
cocaine.
class 1, isn't it?
I think it's worse than cocaine and heroin.
Class or
Yeah.
schedule?
Schedule.
Yes, I think pot Schedule 1, cocaine Schedule 3.
That's it. Yeah. So I mean that if it doesn't change there, we're still going to have this mishmash of crappy legislation out there in various states. So.
Yeah.
There's also.
If you ever seen Parks and Recreation, I'm very Ron Swanson like, and the government needs to be a lot smaller.
You are
Pretty
correct.
darn in this case,
Cannabis is the Schedule 1.
Yep.
Yeah, which makes like 0 sense, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that's old law anyway.
Yeah. Our government's way too big. It's going to
That's
collapse one of these
Nixon,
days.
1968 or something.
You'd have a lot less people. Well, I don't know how many people actually. Not too many people go to jail for pot crimes here in Oregon. I know that. I mean, nationwide though, it might be a little different.
Yeah, in this state, you got to remember we're the 49th state to approve concealed carry. Wisconsin's very slow to change.
Well, they just decriminalized it in Philadelphia up to a certain amount, and in New York City up to a certain amount.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live skit on that about the one in New York?
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
But Woody Harrelson and all that. And
Yeah,
everybody
that was funny.
outside, and the cops are all happy, and then they're about to light it up, and they're like, "What are you
Whoa,
doing?"
whoa,
You
whoa.
can't do that. And they'll go back in their houses.
Yeah. What I'm going to say, it's not really that they, what happened was the DA decided to just stop prosecuting. Anybody that was arrested with, say, like a half ounce or whatever, they decided not to prosecute. And then they just like, okay, we're just going to, just not make it illegal by prosecuting. They have not really made it, passed any laws. They're just not prosecuting anybody. They
that's
could
in only
change their
certain
mind in
areas.
3
That's only-
days.
Yeah, well, and that's only in certain areas too, because you might be able to go down to Milwaukee and maybe they're hardcore on it, or you go down to Chicago and they're hardcore on it, or Texas or North Carolina and they're gonna fucking cornhole you or railroad you, whatever way you want to put it, for sometimes a minor amount. Whereas other states, it's like,
Here's your ticket.
yeah, here you go, pay your fine, and just don't do it like you just did it,
I'll never have to worry about it, but damn, I just think it's an asinine law.
And now to bring this back to firearms.
Exactly.
Hey, I can pull up one more. I think is a very, very important number from that article they were talking about earlier, the Pew Research.
Well, I was just going to go with firearms safety. How many people have shot, either discharged their firearm illegally while drunk or buzzed, compared to how many people may or may not have discharged their weapon illegally smoked up? I would be interested to see what the numbers are on that.
I doubt they have any numbers on that.
Well, and you're not going to get people to self-report on an ND either.
Right.
Well, but you know how the cops get called or whatever, and they get the guy that was drunk with the firearm or whatever. I imagine if you have an ND or whatever, and the cops come and you're all smoked up, I imagine you're in a bit of trouble.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. There was some.
You got to remember too, it's not illegal, at least in Wisconsin, to have a beer and have possession of a firearm. You just can't.
They'll add extra charges. There's definitely extra charges they'll add.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. There's no law saying that you can't be drunk and have possession of a firearm in this state. Discharging a firearm on the other hand, well intoxicated.
I don't know. That's a good thing. I don't think you should be able to be drunk and have a firearm on your person.
Well, now
you can't
I think the rules
carry
are a
it.
little different if you're concealed carry.
Right, but
Okay.
you can
But if you're
carry it on your
if you're just
public
tailgating
property
it somewhere.
Yeah, if you're on your own private property, you could be drunk off your ass and still carry a gun. The government has no right. Now if you're to take out and you're breaking ordinances for your city of discharging a firearm in a place you cannot legally discharge a firearm, then you fall into problems. But for me, if I wanted to get drunk off my ass and go shoot in the backyard, it's completely legal for me to do so.
Of course, we have to, strongly advise against that.
Right. I'm not saying that I do that, folks.
Just
that I have
for the safety Sallies out there.
Yes, I just have the right
do what
to
you
do
want.
so. Yeah. Now, if while I was out there discharging my firearm and ended up shooting a neighbor because they walked into my yard and I was drunk off my ass, then I fall into a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah, that's a deep hole right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is it smart to do? Hell no. But is it legal to do? Yes.
In your state specifically, because I know that there are definitely other states.
In my state, on my private property, in my area of my city, or that's how I have to put it, because it's going to change if I went across the street. Completely different laws over there than on this side of the street. So it's not per state. I'm just saying that's what I have the right to do.
I'm
not recommending anybody do that either.
He has an excellent point. Bottom line, individual responsibility. I think that first part of his statement right there kind of sums it all up. That basically, you have to be responsible if you own a firearm, right? You have to take responsibility for any actions you do while holding, handling, operating. It's on you. Yep. So I think
right now,
the biggest part of everything is that all of it comes down to individual personal responsibility. Yep. And the fact that this is the United States of the easily offended these days, that it's somebody else's fault for something happening to me, and I'm going to sue somebody over it, whereas, well, wait a minute, maybe I am a fuck up, and maybe I should have done this or I should have done that, and you got to take it upon your own shoulders.
Yeah, no, I will say, if I had a beer tonight, I'm not going to conceal carry. Even if I just had one beer, I'm not going to conceal carry until tomorrow. That's just how I am. But I also won't drive, so whether I have one beer or I have 10 beers, I'm not going to drive and I'm not going to conceal carry. My gun's going to be right next to me. I'm not going to play around with it at all. It's going to be just in case somebody does break down that door.
Well, here's an interesting thing going on in Oregon.
Can I just read this one last poll number because I found it
Go
really
for it.
It is In December of 2012, 48% to 57%. This is people became victims of protect people from being victims of crimes. They felt that gun ownership, or that's how I'm gonna say gun ownership. People in December were against people owning guns 48%, or 57% to 48%, and that. Excuse me, 37, 38. I was reading the wrong number. 30 people say that their safety was at risk. 37 to 38%. Now, people protected went from 48 to 57. We went up in 2 years. People are thinking that they're being protected.
People without guns are thinking that people with guns are supposed to protect them. Is that what you're saying?
No. Percentage who say gun ownership in this country does more to protect people from becoming victims of crimes.
Okay.
The number has went up 9%. And the number also went up, though, to put people's safety at risk by 1%. Well, 1% falls into the margin of error. So it's one of these weird numbers.
Is that the more? Is that the more guns, more people dying stat, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
What they're saying is, if somebody owns a gun, it puts people's safety at risk. It went from 37 to 38% in 2 years, and that's only up 1%. But the better number here is protect people from becoming victims of crime went up 9%. And people that refused or didn't know went down 11%.
That's an interesting article there, Sandy.
Yeah, I was just threw this out there. I just happened to come across it, and it's kind of neat if you think about it. This is a pro-gun bill. Whether it passes or not is a whole other story, since the Democrats have a supermajority in our legislature now. But this is a little off the wall.
Yeah.
But it's why not? Just leave it up to individual people to read it. I'm a little impressed with Oregon, actually.
What are we talking about here?
This little link that he posted in the side here.
Okay.
So are they relying on people to take personal responsibility, do you think?
Imagine that.
Whoa.
I know, right?
And they were saying also a conviction, not necessarily, that you got picked up with possession and then, it either got dismissed or you just, I guess if you pay a fine, that's technically a conviction, isn't it?
You are admitting your guilt by paying the fine.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
And they can slip no background checks in this bill.
Yeah, exactly, right. I don't think that's going to happen. We've got a couple of senators down from Eugene, kind of the college town area, right? University of Oregon and all that, whatever the Oregon State. I don't know which one it is, but anyhow, this guy is if he was any further up Bloomberg's shorts, I'll leave it to your imagination, right?
Get that Bloomberg money.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of these guys that have just been a thorn in gun owners' side in Oregon for years, and now that they've got their supermajority, that and with Bloomberg doing what he's doing, I guess they spent $22,000 on one campaign, Bloomberg did, in Oregon, and they got the guy elected, right? And so this is how they're doing things now.
Shit, that's a bargain. That's a bargain. $22,000 to get
for
somebody
a state representative. Yeah, I mean, but Bloomberg, they're not going to stop at state level. They're going to be doing things at the municipal levels too. So you really need to watch out, right? It's going to be even harder to keep your ear to the ground, because these guys aren't going to quit, and
yeah.
Bloomberg, there was something I read the other day, and he's basically quoted at saying that the state and municipalities are the what did he call it, the like, I don't know, I don't want to say the test bed of democracy, but that wasn't the phrase, that wasn't an exact phrase, but you know what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like the laboratory of, but insert the correct
Petri
words.
dish or what have you.
But that's what he's saying, right? And they're going to do whatever they can to affect change at those levels going forward, because I think they pretty much got spanked federally, and they're not going to change.
This may sound ridiculous, and it is going to sound
There's
ridiculous.
a pooch.
What?
Here's your next
what ha-
Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah, she's going to get elected, and she's not even running. What would happen if he would be allowed, Bloomberg would be allowed to pass anti-gun legislation, but only if he wasn't allowed to have firearms and his bodyguards weren't allowed to have basically, if there was a no-gun rule, you're not allowed to have them. They're not. Your bodyguards aren't allowed to have them. How fast would he change his tune, or would he just hire ninjas?
He would find a way around that law so fast to make.
I'm pretty sure he would do the
She
typical
supports
thing.
marijuana laws.
Well, she's all smoked up.
Yeah, I mean, look at those eyes,
No,
right?
she's opposed to marijuana. No, just get that. I want to get that straight. Opposed to marijuana laws, but not opposed to illegal prescription drugs.
So are you compiling dossiers on these people? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
You got their photos.
Just Google image.
Yeah.
For
By the way, that's a bunch of
Bradley
Xanax
Cooper.
that work
For
for
some reason, Bradley Cooper shows up.
Well, he made the comment a few months back or something, I thought, and that was before it came out that he was going to be the American Sniper guy.
What comment did he make?
Yeah, if Bradley Cooper isn't buying drugs.
He's an anti-gunner?
I'm looking it up right now. I would rather not just say he is
He's from Philly.
without a little bit of proof. All
Yep.
right.
By the way, I think, well, now I gotta go back and look. But if anybody's in the market for Glock 39 and 38s, yeah, Glock 38 or 39 magazines, that's for the 45 gap, which I know not too many people are. They're $18.95 over at Great Code LLC.
They probably got 1 million Pennsylvania State Trooper trade-in.
Is there any way to?
No, they're new. They're new.
All right.
Here's something completely off topic, but you're a Glock aficionado, and is there any way to modify those magazines at all to run different calibers, like put a different follower in them, or the feed lips are kind of set, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not.
Not really any way to tweak them.
I'm just gonna say this: GWeb says Glock mags are super cheap, so.
That's one thing I don't do yet is conversion, so
I
wouldn't know.
No, they're cheap enough and
I know
plentiful enough that you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I guess you just use, when you get the conversion barrel, you just use the mag that the barrel's for.
Right,
because
right.
the frame for the 19 and the 23 is the same, and so on and so on.
Yeah. All right, now I'm looking through CDNN's email.
If you want, man, I'm going to say it right now. If you want Glock mags, I would look at Botach.
Anybody want a PT92? That's a Taurus.
Nope.
Two-tone is $370.
They still got that 5 for 100 deal? 5 for 10.
I think they might.
That was a good deal.
The only problem was they were at that time out of 17 and 19 Glock 17s and Glock 19s. They were out of those magazines at that time. But I'm gonna go to Bosch right now. And you know what? I guess
I could use 21.
it was. I'll look.
21.
I'll definitely see what we can find here.
I'm still trying to sell my knife sharpener. I just haven't put up a video on it yet.
The what sharpener is that?
The
Quick Sharp or something like that?
no, the Work Sharp knife and tool sharpener.
Nice.
Yeah, the one, the belt. I call it the belt sander style.
I gotcha. I saw a picture of that just the other day.
Super nice, knife sharpener. I just got rid of most of my knives, so I can just sharpen the few I have left by hand. So I do that so I can actually get my rear sight installed.
Oh, come on.
I just gotta make another video and put it up. Maybe tomorrow.
Dun dun dun.
Unless somebody out there on Gun Channels land wants it. Get the same deal as before, 2 knives and the sharpener for $65, but that's the Gun Channel members, or anybody listening to this chat right now.
Trying to get that stainless one, aren't you?
No, I just want to get my rear
yes.
sight installed on this.
Oh, you can do that yourself.
No, it's apparently it's $25 for 21, whether it's the 13 or the 10 rounders.
DF2 dot, yes. If you would never get rid of it, buy mine then. You get 2 knives with it for $65. And like 8 or 9 brand new belts. That's more than you get with the original one.
But I tell you what, Moon, I bet you they have another sale at around Christmas time in another week or so, I bet. They seem to have sales pretty regular at the old Bowtach.
Anybody need an AR-15 Deluxe Armorer's Wrench? They got one for $15 over at CDNN.
Who's it made by?
I can't tell. Gotta look. I have to click on the link and let it load.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Oh no.
Oh, wait a minute. My bad. They had a little pop-up. If you buy 5 or more of the above, and you get 10% off.
It goes AR-15 Super Tool Tigers or Target Sports. So Target Sports, yeah.
I'm not familiar with that so much.
I think my lighting sucks. Too bad to focus.
I'm just putting it out there, $15. You'll still have to pay $10 for shipping, so.
Is that a new site?
$25.
No, I'm just trying to show how the people that installed these sites, they banged it on there. You can tell they left marks.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't use a site pusher. So I think I probably could have done that.
Yeah, the everything I've read on the PPS, which is the exact same site that I'm getting, is the PPX uses the PPS.
But they're dead on, so I don't care.
Yeah, that's a thing. I don't have a way to check to see if they're dead on besides driving half hour to the range. Oh, okay, now it's shooting. Yeah, it's shooting right. Go back home, another half hour, drive back home. Now take out all the tools, set it again. Now it's shooting.
Just mark it with something that, like, is there any space on the sides of each?
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not going to be the same width.
The night sight. Right.
Yeah. I'd have to take, I have to get a micrometer.
Just so you know, the rear sight tool is about $150.
You can get one for 60.
Nice. Well, and I think it was the quote-unquote Glock rear sight tool, but that's cool.
Yeah, the PPX has this weird roll pin in it that keeps the plastic sight stable, and it's got the roll pin has to be inserted into the sight before it can be inserted into the slide.
Hey, is $80 a good price on TrueGlow TFO front and rear sights?
Yeah. I mean,
no, 1956 is a lot better.
Yeah, they probably don't. Anyway. Anyway. Because I have my shop out here. When I see them on the shelf, they're about $100, a little bit more.
Yeah, right now I'm just on Walther's forum going.
Check out that link if you plan on changing sights a lot on your Glock. Z.
All right. Oh, nice. Universal.
Yeah, the universal kit is 80, I think.
That's not bad at
And
all. And I mean
and
that kind of goes for any semi-auto or whatever that you're gonna change sights on. You know, if you're gonna take the stock ones off and put on something else, I think that would be a good tool to have.
oh yeah, I'm definitely getting one because I'd like to do my own sights. I'm sick of going to the.
Well, what are
They always keep my gun for like a couple days and
you paying to have them put
I'm
them on
impatient.
usually?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, other than they marred your shit.
Yeah, well, it's not that bad. I mean, they're just two little ping marks, but
So
I've heard stories of people like hammering them on because they're hard to get on. I don't know.
I have heard some of the same stories, and then you see the side of their slide, and it's all fucked up.
Yeah, well, he didn't touch the side of my slide, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it was just the sights themselves that looked like. And you're not OCD anyway, right? So I mean, that's not really going to keep you up at night.
No, I didn't buy those sights for looks. Those are all functionality. Those target sights. Well, they're actually quick acquisition, but a lot of competition shooters use them supposedly. I like them.
So speaking of OCD and guns, do you have any that you don't mind throwing in the dirt and just using as a shooting tool, and and don't really care what it looks like on the outside?
What do you mean?
Personally,
Gun?
I mean, do you have any beater guns that you just they're still good shooters and you don't really care if you drop one or whatever? If you had to throw it in the dirt like at Yeager's place, that kind of thing.
Not at the moment. I kind of want to buy a police trade-in just for that.
Yeah.
When I can get a police trade-in 19, I'll do that, and then that'll be my carry and beater gun.
Right. Yeah. It's still a good shooter. It just may not look all that great.
Yeah.
Little holster wear. Who cares, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm looking at the sight pushing tool you have in there. Definitely would like to buy one. Somebody buy my sharpener. I can get it.
there you go.
Just putting it out there. You're getting 2 knives and a sharpener. It's basically like brand new. So.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would throw this one. This is what I carry, the Flat Dark Earth one.
Yeah.
I carry the 30S too, so I would throw either one of them if I had to.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't have a lot of guns to, destroy or anything like that, but if there was a need where I had to throw it on the ground for a moment or two,
Yeah, I have no problem.
I would, I'm with you on that. Fucker's getting tossed in the dirt.
Trying to live.
Yep.
Yeah. I tend to be less careful with the automatics than I do with the revolvers. The revolvers are, they're a little easier to damage, I think, as far as the looks of them. It's, polymer gun, slide or whatever, you can usually polish it. You can always Cerakote it, and it still looks, you can bring them back, right?
Well, that and revolvers are pretty.
Yeah.
I didn't want to use that word, right? But yeah, exactly.
Good looking. Can I just say good looking then?
They are.
Good looking.
They have all ways they can get messed up when you toss them.
Oh yeah.
Cylinder sticking out like that.
Yeah, there's nothing good about dropping a revolver on the ground.
Like, you're not going to throw a Python or that TRR-8 in the dirt unless there's actual life on the line, I think.
Right. Well, probably for any gun. I mean, we're not operators. At least I'm speaking for myself.
Or you're going to end up dead because you didn't want to throw your Python in the dirt.
Well, you can probably do it to a couple of those
Can I gently set it down, please?
I said put the fucking gun on the ground, goddammit!
Oh, man. Just see dollar signs while it's still in midair. Yikes.
I'd be like, all right, motherfucker, you better not shoot me.
I brought it up only because I see, a lot of people. You have pride in your firearms. I understand that, but I mean, you gotta have your crescent wrench too.
Well, that's the thing. I still believe it's a tool. It's a machine.
Yeah, I like that term. G-Webs has been using that a lot lately. Kind of it takes the fear out of it. You know what I mean?
As it should.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
somebody got. Oh,
these
go for it.
anti-gunners today, they're getting a little crazy. They were talking about gun nuts and how it was like a disease and how it like turns people evil. It's like they're on this kick now.
Like,
And I
you
was
must
like,
be
you guys,
crazy if you're a
I
gun
was
owner
like,
kind of theory.
I was like, you people realize you sound like people like a witch hunt, like people
Yeah.
that would be screaming, burn them.
Yep, witch.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, the more shrill they get, the worse it makes them look. To
Oh yeah,
the mainstream people. So, and I think that
that's
all
what I'm
kind of goes
saying.
hand in hand with those poll numbers that Cork was talking about in that article I put out earlier. I think things are swinging a little bit more to the center.
They're getting so radical that it's like, who's crazy now?
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I mean, that can only help us, right? So make them as crazy as possible, right? Do everything you can to antagonize them.
Well, you
Trust me.
don't want them to cross the line either, where they go and do something really crazy,
Well, there is some of them that will attack you on your Facebook profile. So you got to make all your stuff. If you're gonna do that, you got to make all your stuff private. Make nothing public. Like, you can go to someone's profile and just see their name. You won't be able to see any of their profile pic, their background pic, any of their pictures, because that's what they like to do. They like to dig through your pictures and take picture and steal pictures of you, and then make some kind of weird propaganda out of you.
Huh.
That was you, yeah. They
What?
did that to you
They
specifically.
they're known to contact your workplace and start fucking with you there.
Seriously?
And these aren't people affiliated with the Moms Demand Action or the group. I mean, that's who they're saying they're with on the site, but these are just crazy people, acting on their own. I don't think they're getting like a direction to break the law.
Yeah. Someone mentioned it earlier, and it's been kind of an ongoing tack, I think, that the anti-gunners are using, going after the mental health aspect of it as a public health issue, right?
Yeah.
Fortunately, I think that one is pretty easy to defend,
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless you're just a complete idiot.
And there is that.
There is that, but there is that in everything, so. It's a hell of a thing to have to fight to keep your hobby. You know what I mean?
Or you're right, if you want to look at it like that.
Look at it that. Well, I do look at it like that for sure, but it's. I think a lot of people just get tired of it. Probably why there aren't more people active, even active, shooters and whatnot, getting involved on the Second Amendment side, is they just don't want to deal with it all. But
I would have to say that I have some anti-gunner friends, and I would have to also say that I have more friends now that maybe not. They were more in the middle, where they didn't really think one way or another about a firearm, but they are showing interest, or they still might occasionally come with the why do you need 30 rounds and this and that, but they don't necessarily feel that you shouldn't have the right to defend yourself. So, but a few of the anti-gunner friends that I do have, we just don't talk about guns. It's one way that we're still able to be friends, I guess.
It's one of those third rail kind of
Yeah.
talking points, discussion points. Yeah.
Probably not talking about abortion. We're probably not talking about religion, and if we're smart, we're not talking about politics. Which is kind of the, I guess it's kind of the pussy way out though too.
For both sides,
Yeah.
you know.
When I talk to my friends, I talk to them no matter if they agree with me or not. I mean, that's
Right.
the whole kind of point, is to have that conversation with your friend where you can oppose each other, and then, I don't know.
Oh, we do still have discussions about things like that. For example, one of my friends, his wife, her cousin was shot and killed. So, out of just politeness, so to speak, and whatnot, I try not to bring it up around her because that's not for me to say that, oh, you shouldn't feel this way or you shouldn't feel that way. You've been directly affected by
Right. That's
so,
just
Yeah,
that's common courtesy.
I'm not arguing with that.
You know,
But
if you didn't know that, and you were, it's up to her not to be offended if somebody doesn't know. But right. I don't know. I'm with you, Moon. I don't shy away when it comes to talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in particular, that is the one that I usually shy away from. Whereas anybody else, I
That makes sense,
been
though. I
maintaining
mean,
the conversation.
Yeah.
And they're really dear friends. I mean, they've been my friends for 20 plus years. I mean, it's not like they're not my friend because they know that I'm a gun owner or anything like that. We didn't stop hanging out or anything like that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just
Yeah. Why push that button? You don't need
exactly.
to do that.
But it's funny though, is that when she's not around, occasionally her and her husband will, or her husband and I will have gun discussions.
Does he shoot?
He has in the past, but it's definitely a moot point at this time.
Yeah.
Like he told me straight up one time, I don't want to shoot the rifle, but if you had a handgun, I love those. I'd go out and shoot with him. Like, dude, your wife's right there. Shut the fuck up.
He's willing to push the envelope a little.
Well, yeah, we were outside and she was in the kitchen or something like that. So it was one of those things. Like he ain't gonna talk like that, around her. And again, totally understandable, And I don't try and push the issue that much when I'm over there.
Right, right. So was it a random act, or?
I think it was
not to get into too much detail, but
it was a dispute with a neighbor, and it just ended up going bad.
That's too bad.
And then on top of it, the dude didn't really get in trouble for much of anything, which is totally fucking insane. I don't, I'm not privy to the court discussion or anything like that. And again, I really don't try and pry any facts out of her either.
No,
because,
right,
again,
of course.
It's like, fuck. But, yeah, from my understanding, the dude the bad guy was relatively a bad guy, lived down the road and was a bad guy. And, he might have not even really been supposed to have firearms in the first place, or the firearms he had were just barely legal because they were somebody else's in the house, or, there was a whole bunch of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that the guy that got shot went down, had firearms of his own, but didn't approach the guy because he knew the guy was, the neighbor down the street or whatever and all that. And he didn't go out with his firearm. He went to go talk to the dude like he had done in the past. And this particular time that he did that, words didn't work.
Yeah, you got to be really careful. You're going to confront somebody these days. How long ago did that happen?
It's been probably 2 years now,
So
almost.
it's relatively new then for her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course, anytime I think it was after Sandy Hook, but anytime you hear anything else happening in between here and there, and let's just say she's a big fan of the MSNBC, so.
Oh,
So, it just kind of dogpiles a little bit.
sure. Yeah, I've got a real super liberal friend. I've mentioned it before, but I've been trying to get her out to the range. I think this weekend, probably Sunday. I'm going to see if she's up for it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, she's just like you to saying MSNBC. We've had I can't tell you how many discussions about Obamacare when that was in the works, and just because my wife and I are very conservative, and she's just the opposite, but we get along.
Yeah.
Along really well. In fact, we have keys to each other's houses, and all of that.
Yes, that's the same situation I'm in.
Yeah.
I go house sit for them and everything like that. I take care of their pets, and
Yeah, exactly.
we, like I said, we truly are really close and really good friends. We just happen to differ on a couple of things.
Yeah, she was really funny. I put that Model 60 unloaded, of course. I put it in her hand when because I brought it up. We were talking about guns, and she was all she got on her anti-gun horse, and her and I kind of butt heads when we get into political conversations, and she has as much fun with it as I do, right? But I finally thought, well, hell, I'll go get one, and I'll just put it in her hand and see what she does.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Yeah. So I bring it out, and I show it to her, and I open the cylinder, and I show her that it's safe and all of that, and hand it to her with the cylinder open, and show her how to close it, right, using the crane and all of that, and she was sitting there holding this thing, and kind of with both hands, just like somebody who's never had a gun in their hand before. She's got the thing in both hands with her elbows out, and just kind of holding it kind of under her chin and out a little bit, looking down this thing, going, God, it makes me feel so powerful. Like,
Ding.
you'll get over that, but
That's
yeah,
weird.
she's got a little. It is. I think a lot of people project, right? They're against guns because they're not sure what they would do if they had one. Right?
I've definitely witnessed that for sure. That you shouldn't have a gun because I know that if I had one, and I just don't know what I would do sometime if I just got too angry, or if I was in traffic, or and they always come up with that kind of shit. It's like, well, wait a minute, you can't say what I would do if that's what you would do.
That's kind of a classic case of somebody overthinking something, and out of I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but out of the different political persuasions that are out there, the ones that tend to overthink the most are anti-gun. Let's just put it that way.
I would agree with that.
Right?
I would.
And so, I'll break her of that. I'll break her of that whole thing. And get her out there, and I'll show her that it's, she was up for it. She's after she had it in her hand for a while and whatnot.
I got a feeling she slings some lead down range, and
yeah, she's going to.
The tune might change. The tune might change.
But I will definitely be standing behind her and off to one side with a hand on her shoulder and be armed myself in case she decides to do something stupid. But I don't think that's going to happen. But it ought to be interesting. She's still not sure if she wants that videotaped or not.
Oh, I'm sure the first time it's hell no, and maybe the second time, well, maybe.
Yeah.
You just can't post it. You just can't post it on my Facebook page.
What I want to do is I want to get Liberal shoots a gun for the first time. That's what I want to get, and I'm trying to get that. We'll see. Maybe I'll just set a camera up off to the side and she won't notice it. But it would be awesome to see, her reaction, right, when she.
Here's a question: is it going to be an outdoor range or an indoor range? Is it going to be on private land? Okay, because one of the first times I took my friend, a different friend, wife shooting for the very first time, it was at an indoor range, and it was a whole lot to take in. There was a whole lot of sensory overload going with, bang bang going off on each side of you and everything like that. And I kind of did like what you're talking about, is I just, I just had my hand on her shoulder, let her know that I'm there, you know. And at
Mhm.
first, you know, I even had my hand underneath her two hands and everything like that. I'm like, "How you feeling? How you doing? You know, you ready?"
You like the golf teacher?
Yeah,
Was she hot?
exactly. Oh well, it's my friend's wife, so I'm not commenting on how hot
Okay,
or
I
not she.
diverged. Sorry, I digressed.
Because yeah, she's a very cutie pie for
All right.
sure. But again, that's my bro.
So you're guiding her through the whole deal.
Yeah, and she, you know, she's like, "Is it gonna go boom?" I said, "Well, not until you pull the trigger."
Mhm.
You know, and that first time we ended up shooting like it was man, it was a SIG, and I think it was a 380, but it was one of the it wasn't a small SIG 380, and we also got her to shoot a 357, but we put 38s in it, and it was a little because she's a very small person. That 357 was probably like a 686. It was kind of heavy for her,
Mhm.
but
They're soft
she,
shooters with 38 special in them.
yeah, she had no problem managing the recoil or anything like that, and had fun. She had a
There it
great
is.
time. We talked about it, and then this last time when I went to go visit, I ended up bringing. I gave my buddy when he graduated uh, from Texas State University. I gave him my Model 59, 12 gauge shotgun as a graduation present.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, no regrets on any part of that because he didn't own a firearm at that time. He had shot them growing up, whether hunting or this or that, but he didn't own one. And I'm like, well, you know, I feel better knowing that my goddaughter's protected with a firearm in the home, but I want to make sure with you first that, you know, you got children in the house. I want to know that it's going to be locked up to some degree. You
And
know,
you
I
know how
want
to
to know
use
that
it.
everything's safe and that you know how to use it.
Right.
So this same small person that had only ever fired a gun the first time when the previous time I had visited, now she's out there shooting a 12 gauge shotgun, and we were shooting clays. She hit her clay, her first clay, before I ended up hitting my first clay, and she
Sweet.
loved that too. So I don't know how much they go when I'm not there, but I know that when I come visit, we're going at least once to somewhere to shoot.
Well, there you
And
go. So she
yeah,
got the bug. That's awesome.
a little bit. Yep,
Yeah, that's
yep.
what I'm hoping that happens with this gal. So we'll see.
But I pulled her more from the middle. I don't think that I pulled her from the left so much.
Oh.
She just hadn't. She didn't really, you know, she was worried about her kids. You know, the safety of her kids. She didn't. She didn't want. You know, she had that in her head. It's like, oh, I don't know. You know, my kids. All I think about is my kids and my kids' safety. I'm like, well, think about this. I would rather have you knowing how to do this if you ever had to defend yourself or your children. I would much rather you knew how to do this than it came to the instance where you needed to do that and you didn't know how.
Yeah,
And
and
she
you're
took that.
fumbling. Yeah.
She took that in, you know, big deep breath, deep exhale, and she's like, "Well, you know, you're right." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Cool, very cool."
Yeah, exactly. You know, instead of fumbling with it and basically giving it to the intruder, you know, she didn't know how it worked. It's a good point. So it'll be fun. I'll see if I can get it on camera. I really, really want to get it on camera, but I won't push that. I won't let that stop her. You know, so definitely report back once that happens. See if I can get her out on Sunday.
I think
Hey,
that's going to be
Island.
cool.
Hey, Island, you
Yep.
there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I sent you a PM on gun channels.
All right. Yeah, I'll write it in there.
All right, cool.
I
I'm
was
out.
originally hoping not, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, trust me, it won't be. All right, I gotta go.
All right. I just posted it. Okay. Do do do.
Okay, that was weird, but
Yeah. No, it was a question, and he sent me a message, and I hadn't
all good.
responded yet.
All good. So new shooters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anybody else right now that I can introduce at this point.
There's a couple of chicks down at where I work that have been kind of. Sometimes they talk tough, so to speak. You know, big talk or whatever. And that when some of the other people that I'm talking with have firearms of their own, and we'll talk about being at the range or something like that, and you occasionally get the, oh, really? When is that? You know, oh, I might be interested. So I might be able to take some more new shooters and some shooters that are on island that they shot on the mainland, but they haven't shot while they've been out here.
Right on. So can you go out? I don't know if Hawaii has woods, right? I mean, can you go out? Do you have national park land or anything like that and shoot just anywhere you want, or is it pretty well restricted?
It's pretty well restricted, but we do have one public range, and then we have several, like 3 or 4 places for like shooting skeet or shotgun, basically. But we really only have one public range where you can shoot rifle, handgun, and all that at. There's some private property, so if you know some of the right people, so to speak, there's other areas that you can go to. And then as far as the hunting goes, you can only hunt in the designated areas. And you can only have a firearm during those hunting seasons in those areas.
Do they do pig hunts there? Like they do down south? Texas and whatnot?
We got axis deer. We have feral hogs. We got feral goats. We also have a pheasant season. We have on one of the other islands. We also have I don't know if it's mouflon sheep, and then some other type of ram as well. And I know that all of those are huntable, so to speak, or what have you. But myself, I'm not really into eating goat, and I'm not really into eating sheep or ram so much. And I'm not really a trophy hunter, so.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
But as far as the hogs or the deer go, yeah, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that, no problem.
Bury that pig in charcoal or coals and do it that way, right?
Coals, stones, and banana leaves or luau leaves. Absolutely, dude. It is so good. I understand why those Hawaiians started those luau's like that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing better. Well, I'm going to go ahead and drop out. I don't know how long we have until Edge takes over. What do we got?
50 minutes or so.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Did he say what his topic was yet?
I don't think he has his chat set up yet, so I have no clue.
Guns and stuff.
Yeah. Guns and
Probably
things.
he's probably back to Canadian chat.
And belts. Yeah. Well, I am going to take off, get something to eat, and I'll catch you back on the side. Talk to y'all later.
If we don't talk to you before Sunday,
Thanks.
good luck with that.
Oh, yeah, right on. No, I'll definitely get back to you and let you know what happened.
Awesome. Take care.
See you.
Moon, you got any new shooters or previously shooters that haven't shot in a while that you'll end up being able to take to the range or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know what I want to take to the range. I think I'm going tomorrow, but I'll definitely take the Glock 41.
Oh, I meant people, but yeah, I gotcha.
What?
Yeah, I meant
What was
new
the question?
shooters.
Oh,
I meant
new
new shooters, as opposed to new
Okay.
heaters. You got any new heaters you're taking to the range?
Well, I got my kids.
That's awesome. I like every part of that.
Yeah. There's a couple people I'd like to take to the range, like my sisters. I don't know, anybody that wants to come, really. Nobody really ever wants to come.
All right. Like out here, our public range is only open the first Sunday, second Saturday, and third Thursday of the month usually, and it's usually only open from like 8:30 to like 1 or 1:30. So That happens to be during my work schedule. So it's usually demands that I have to take the day off and all that kind of stuff in order to be able to go. So that's a bummer. So I don't get to the range as much as I'd like, that's for sure. Saves on ammo, though, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely gives you time to stock up.
Which is a good thing because that stuff's not always on a shelf out here, and if it is on the shelf, sometimes it's more than you want to pay for it. Sometimes.
So you guys got a Walmart in Hawaii?
Yes, sir. But they do not sell ammo or firearms.
I don't know how you say that.
Which, I guess, I mean, it sucks. Especially when I see Chris doing the fucking commando raid. When good guy goes on his scooter through the Walmart to the gun section, I'm always a little jealous.
Yeah. The cases around here in the Walmarts are pretty empty most of the time. You gotta catch them on a good day.
Mine are.
You could pick up a bunch of ammo for cheap.
Yeah, the only shells that are low are like the 17 HMRs and the 22s. Those are gone around here, but you can get almost anything else you want.
That's nice.
I don't know why 17 HMR is flying off the shelf here, but yeah, and I've been looking at just the cost to be able to put that rear sight on myself, you know, not just be able to switch it out, but then sighting it in. Oof.
You're looking at bore
sighter? For a decent one, those are not cheap. I mean, I guess I could just buy, you know, a pair of calipers and figure out the center and then try to get it to center. So now, you know, you're not worried about, you know, like with a scope, you're not worried about, you know, up and down either. You're just worried about left to right.
What, left or right?
Sighting in the rear sight.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, DF, buy the sight tool and ship it to me. Yeah, there you go. That'd be more expensive than me having the gunsmith do it at $65.
Man, for $65 though, that sight tool was only 80 or whatever. I think that Moon posted, right?
I think 60.
Oh, even more awesome.
Yeah, but shipping the gun to him?
No, if
that's what I think he's
buy
talking
the
about.
sight-
He'll sight it in for me by shipping
oh,
the gun. You know, you're talking, you know, second day air, which will be another like $30-40. Sight tool,
I gotcha.
because you can't just do the slide. You've got to do the whole gun at that situation. I think.
How's that front sight on there? Is it
I don't
a
know.
screw underneath?
Yeah, it's just a screw down. A screw underneath holding it in. So front sight's like super duper easy. I haven't taken mine off yet, you know, but I'm not gonna do that till I get it. But yeah, you just screws it down and it just slips right in. This channel power for it and everything. So, yep.
It's like that. It screws on the top.
No, underneath.
Oh, okay. 'Cause this side's pretty easy to change out. That's just like a little hex screw. Loosen that up and then push it out the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then slide the night sight in there.
Yeah. Mine, you just screw out the bottom and it falls right out. There's a channel carved in the gun.
Yeah, it's like a glove.
Yeah.
It's like the P99 and PPQ and all the rest of the Walthers. Pretty much.
Yeah, they're the same size as the PPS, so they're
Do-
exact same.
Do Novak sights require a different channel at the back usually?
No clue.
Yeah, I think they're cut different. Dovetail and Novak.
Okay.
Dano, when I looked, at least the price tags on 22 at Walmart were like $30 for 500. So, and like 50 or 100 rounds of CCIs were I think 9.
Wow. I still don't own a 22.
I sold all mine. So I
I
don't
know
have to
that
worry about that.
I know that I will, because one of the next times I go visit my goddaughter, she's going to be somewhere between 12 and 13, and I'm really hoping that I can get a little bit of permission. Well, and inclusion with the family, of course.
Go out and shoot with her.
Yep. So I think that I do want to have a 22 at that time to be able to start the no fear approach. Just another excuse to buy another firearm, though.
Oh yeah. If anybody wants to buy an awesome knife sharpener and get 2 knives, contact me. I'll keep pushing it. Oh, that's a cool knot. Tie it all together, just released a video. The bootlace bar paracord bracelet. That just looks cool. I don't know how he comes up with these knots, but they're awesome. If you want to learn how to tie paracord, tie it all together. This is thanks to G-Webs for telling me about his channel. So it's G-Webs. He does really good videos on how to tie different paracord knots, bracelets. It's just cool.
Headbands.
You've got the touch. You've got the power.
A braided paracord headband. Be sweet. Pastel colors.
But you got to make it one of those survival ones where it's got the wire saw in it, and it's got the fishing line and a hook and all of that kind of stuff in there.
I have all this. I haven't done shit with it.
Nice. Hey, it's a good thing to have, no matter what.
Yeah, I will say my cats, just in case you guys are thinking about making fishing toys for your cats, mine will chew through the lighter 300, what is it, 350, 330, whatever that weight is. My cats chew right through that, not like a few bites and they're through. They don't chew through the 550.
I think this is the 500 or 550 or something.
Yeah, they try. They can't get through the
It's a cheap Walmart.
So it's made in China.
It's the right color, though.
Most likely, yeah.
Yep, I get mine through Amazon through a U.S. company, so like that. I got a big bag of it sitting aside. My problem is keeping that stuff organized. Paracord, if you mix it together, just even loose, after you unbundle it to use it, just goes all over the place. It's a pain in the rear. I'd love to have like a different spools I could put it on. Make it a lot easier to store and use. Dan was asking type of pusher tool. What kind of type of pusher tool?
I'm posting
Glock.
now.
Glock site or Universal.
I just put the
Site
site
pusher.
pusher. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. The problem with, at least with the Meprolites, is that they don't give you the frickin' I call it, a roll pin, but it's actually not technically a roll pin that goes in there. They don't give you a spare one. So you gotta be able to remove the one from the site, then be able to squish it back into that tight channel it goes into. Which you don't put in through the end, you actually have to snap it in place. People say it's like it sounds like you're breaking glass trying to get that thing to sit in the into the site.
Really? Like crack, crack, crack the whole way, or?
Yeah, kind of. They kind of like they compared it to cracking glass. So
No.
all I know is it comes off left to right and goes back in right to left. I know that much.
Hey Moon, it said once you click that site pusher, it lists some of the makes and models, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It'll be like, you can do this for, like the XDs or the
It even said H and K.
1911s. Yeah, H and K or 1911s. I looked and I can't remember them all anymore. I just went with the
Ballistic expansion. Good job, buddy.
Universal. Let's see. They have the XL Stipe. They have the Standard. Then they have the Springfield XD, the Springfield XDM, the Brenda 92F. That's what I think the 92F was the HK. They got a Gunsmith kit with all three clamping block sets and standard block. That's just on the Universal model. And they have the XL, as I said.
This guy's putting a ghost ring on his Glock.
What?
Who's putting the ghost ring?
The snake eye thing?
No. I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
That's the one where it's like a circle, a full-on circle at the back of your pistol.
Yeah, yeah. With the two tritium dots on the side?
I think so.
Yeah. It's a ghost ring sight for a pistol.
All right, if you want to know Edge's topic tonight, it's going to be Glock talk and SHOT Show talk.
Sweet.
Boring.
I don't know. It's entertaining.
SHOT Show is what, next month?
Yeah, middle of next month. I mean, I'm excited. I don't know that I'll have any money to buy anything new that comes out, but I always like seeing new shit.
Oh yeah, I like looking at the some of the videos, but after the first day of videos rolling in, I'm like, okay, I'm done looking at videos.
Oh no, I like, man, because I think I have enough. I don't know if I have like 400 or 500 subscriptions, so it's like I like seeing the different viewpoints, and they don't always cover all the same things. I mean, usually sometimes they're just covering the what do you call it, the numbers, so to speak. Oh, it's this big, it holds this many rounds, this and that. But I usually,
yeah. The way I look at it is somebody else's opinion on the gun, although kind of cool. Doesn't do a whole lot for me because I want my hands are different than somebody else's, so I want to be able to feel the gun anyway.
I like it because it'll give me a heads up when I'm hoping comes to the local shop to get in my hand at some point, though.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I look at the the hype guns. Was I all that wowed about the Taurus see-through revolver? Hell no. Did I watch one video? I don't need to watch any more than one video on that. That's what most of the guns are.
I tell you what, though, it did get me hot on the Glock 41, and I know that even though I didn't buy that one first, I know that I will have one. I'll have the big brother and the little brother.
Well, that's that I can understand that, but that was a hyped gun. The 42 was really really hyped. The 41 was somewhat hyped.
I just liked it because it was finally similar to a long slide 45, and it was the 34 or the 35, but it was finally in 45. The AARP as Digital Prophet would say.
Well, like I said, that's just my opinion. I'd love to be able to go to SHOT Show and look around, but after the first day, they covered basically all the guns I'm interested in.
Well, and then when they have media
know
day at the range too, I like that because they have different. There's different sizes of people always firing these firearms, and I'm usually trying to check out what the recoil's doing to each one, or rarely do you get a bad review so much. Like even the R51, I don't think it got a bad. Oh wait, or did they not even bring that one out on range day? I might be talking out my ass on that.
The R51?
Yeah, they might have not brought that out.
I don't even think they brought it out. I'm not 100% sure anymore. It was almost a year ago.
And the funny thing is, if anything,
it always missing from range day.
Okay, if anything, it tells me what kind of money I need to save up for what type of product or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need to save up, $800.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. I like seeing some of the guns, but do I really need to look at? No, the P226 comes in rainbow with pink grips, and I'm not really interested in seeing that. I like to see, there's a new SIG, I'll watch that, or there's a new gun on the market, I'll watch a video. But if it's the old stuff, I'm not interested in it. I mean, it's all the same stuff again. I'm interested in the new stuff, the new models.
Well, and then sometimes there's companies coming out with new rails or new butt stocks or new, there's always something.
I'm not interested in. Yeah, I'm not interested in that period because that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm kind of like Yankee. I'm more of a handgun person than a long gun.
You should get a VZ58.
Man, I would get the 2008 instead of the 58 because that shit is $399.
Yeah, get that. Get the $399 with the 5 mags for. Yep.
For nothing. They're practically giving them away.
I don't even want one, but I don't know.
But at that price, I must. Man, I did see yesterday or the day before that Arms of America still had, or at least it said it still had, some of those Vepers 7.62x39 for $699.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they still have them, but that price right there, it was poking me for sure, trying to prod me into click, buy me.
I want that Scorpion, so I'm gonna try to get that.
The 1911 one or
the CZ?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
The new one, Scorpion Evo or whatever it is, right?
That semi-auto submachine gun.
Yeah, that shit looks right. I won't be able to own one of those out here because I don't think they make a 10-round magazine for that son of a bitch.
They might. It looks like it comes with a 20 or something. It's definitely a shorter magazine than 30 rounds.
Well, 20 would be a no-go, unfortunately, out here. Because it's still a pistol, right?
Let me check out their site, see if they've listed it.
Because I have yet to own a CZ, but I do like the looks of them. I kind of wanted a Ramey because I think I could get one with a 10-round mag.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I wanted one of those. I can never find them.
Oh, I haven't seen them with any type of regular. I've definitely never seen one in a shop out here.
Let's see.
I like them.
I've no use for this gun, but
well, There's
Other
a
than
specific
to
use in
have
the
it.
toolbox. Yeah, well, there would be a specific use
Oh,
for
yeah.
that tool in the
Be a
toolbox.
good, very good truck gun, I think. 9mm, 7-inch barrel. Just,
Yeah,
I think that was zipped through windshields, right?
easily wieldable in the cab of the truck.
Name. Come on, you know, according to Tac Daddy's show, you need a bullpup for in the truck of the car in your car. So
I ain't saying I wouldn't
Oh,
want one of those
thanks.
either. I wish we could
a
even have one.
bullpup, to be more specific, a bullpup Keltec.
Wow, that's because didn't Schwell get the factory tour and
Something like that, yeah.
they're all in with that guy. I wouldn't want to have to count on one, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to own one. You know, does that make any kind of sense?
Yep.
Especially now that they have the downward ejecting one, or they're supposed to be coming out with the downward ejecting bullpup.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to break somebody else's at the range just by shooting it 3 times, you know?
Yeah, check that out. It doesn't. I don't think it says what kind of mag it has.
Let's see.
CZ Scorpion.
That's probably 20 though.
Yeah, it looked a little long. I like the look of it though. It looks futuristic a little bit.
Yeah, it's got like the left side cocker up front, up top there. Sights already on it.
Well, what's the thing in
Hand
front?
stops already
Is
on
that
it.
meant as a forward grip?
No, that's a hand stop.
I know it's a hand stop, but I mean, you think about.
So I'd get this and then put the SIG brace on it, and then it would be perfect, right?
There you go. That's not a bad plan. And look at all that rail too that it comes with. Rail
Yeah,
everywhere.
you could put lights on it and shoot lasers. Definitely put a red dot on the top.
Right, you need a red dot, a green dot, 3 flashlights.
I don't need any green dots, but maybe a green laser.
There
green
you go.
Laser, yeah. Green laser, red dot, backup sights. Come on, you need all that. You gotta add like 50 pounds of gear to it.
Oh, that stuff's pretty light.
When I see
You
a
know, that one in there
decked
might
out-
be
yeah.
a 10-rounder. That one in there might be a 10-rounder because when I look at Colin Noir's video down below it, that looks like the 20-rounder, right?
I don't know, that might be the 30 rounder, because he was talking about how the 30 rounders are $20 a piece, and he was shooting a bunch of 30 rounders.
You know, I had
Yeah,
read on
it's-
the CZ page before, CZ USA, that some of their guns that do have more higher capacity magazines, they do also make 10-rounders for those states that have them. I know they made it for some other models. I don't know if that would come out right away for this one, but that's
What
pretty.
about 7-rounders for New York?
It usually says it in the description.
Yeah.
It'll say prohibited states, but it doesn't even have that.
Yeah. But I will say, anytime I see a gun decked out in all rails that come factory like that, I'm just thinking that's somebody that's going to be attacked a fool with that gun.
Oh, yeah, I might make it look goofy.
Who cares?
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose of buying it. I mean, it's not going to be $8.49 off the shelf. If they make a lot of them, it's going to be cheaper than that.
That'd be cool. I mean, it's a cool looking gun as is. I'm just saying that's the first thing I think of when I see just all those rails running. I'm like, somebody's just going to make this thing into.
And at a 7 3/4-inch barrel, I'm pretty sure I could own one of those. I think that's still legal out here for pistol barrel length.
Yeah, I mean, because the only difference is that the magazine is up front and not in the pistol grip. I mean, you don't have any.
Yeah, but you can
bolts
only
against that.
take that directly to your range and back again.
Well, that's all I can do with any of them other than if somebody kicks my door in.
I know. You live in paradise. You got to live with those giant scorpions and fat cane spiders.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it was 83 degrees today. It was fucking hot.
You're bitching about heat?
No, I'm rubbing it in.
Well, I hope a scorpion stings you next time.
They do. They do all the time.
You've just like grown immune to their venom.
No, it just doesn't hurt as much as it used to.
I take it they're not overly deadly then.
Well, if you are, what do you call it? What's the, if you're allergic to if you're allergic to bee stings and stuff like that,
Anaphylactic shock?
it can ruin your fucking day. But the worst things out here are like either the black widows, the brown widows, the brown recluse, and then of course any and all fucking centipedes are terrible out here.
I'm going to say this. I live in Green Bay. We don't have any of that stuff. Yay. I'll deal with 6 months of winter.
I don't know. I lived in Green Bay for a few winters. I'm going to take my sunshine and swat a few bugs. We don't have any snakes out here for the most part that are indigenous, so that's a good thing.
Well, don't you have like those cat-eye snakes that are invasive species coming in?
The only invasive species that we have for the most part is like the Guamanian brown tree snake that'll come in on cargo sometimes. There has been, in the 20 years that I've been here, a couple of either boas or pythons, but those were obviously smuggled in. They're not, And to be honest, those are easier to catch than the brown tree snake.
Yeah, I thought I heard something. Maybe it wasn't Hawaii, but I know other islands are getting an invasive species, the cat-eye snake, which has rear fangs instead of front fangs. It has rear fangs.
Oh wow. Well, here's the other thing. Back 60, 70, 80 years ago or whatever, or even longer, they imported Rikki Tikki Tavi out here. And what they didn't realize was they were trying to curb the rodent population, and then they brought in the mongoose. But what they don't understand is that rats are nocturnal at the time. That the rats are nocturnal, and fucking mongoose are daytime predators. So basically, it decimated the ground nesting bird population out here for the most part.
Yep. It's kind of like introducing the cane toad to Australia.
Yeah, almost exactly like that. Or the rabbits. Where's the place where they introduced the rabbits and it's just gone insane?
Australia.
Okay.
You could say Australia for basically where did they introduce, and it's Australia.
Well, and like also they introduced a couple of different types of fish out here, and it's one of those fish that it reproduces faster and it competes for the same resources. So a lot of the endemic species are getting edged out by some of those. So there's like literally almost like no size limits on these particular fish, and it's a no limit on take for the most part.
Yeah, well, we've got the snakeheads here. Well, they're not here yet, but they're moving their way north.
Yeah, they're definitely on their way.
And then, of course, the Asian carp.
Yep.
And then the zebra snails as well.
Zebra mussels.
Or zebra mussels, yeah, sorry. Zebra mussels.
Yeah. Now, one thing that the zebra mussel has done, I know in the Great Lakes in particular, it's caused a lot of problems, yes, but it has cleaned the water.
Yes, it has. It's like
considerably.
It's killed a whole bunch of stuff, but it's also helped. It's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that is true. Oh, we do have jellyfish in a few lakes.
Really?
Chinese jellyfish.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty
we
rare.
got all. Well, we got. I didn't mention any of the sea creatures that we have out here. We got plenty of stuff that'll ruin your fucking day out here on that tip.
Oh, these aren't overly.
Do you have like
stinky
giant
type of jellyfish? Yeah, they're not like
giant man-eating jellyfish in Hawaii?
These aren't
we do have box jellyfish. We have man of
Man
war
of
jellyfish.
Wars, yeah.
We have the mini ones that are like they're little jellyfish that almost their tops are like sails, but they're small. We have a we have several different varieties of jellyfish out here for
Yeah,
sure.
these are freshwater jellyfish. They're not very big, like the size of a golf ball. And they're not overly, they don't sting all, their sting isn't that bad.
Like a bullhead almost sting.
Kinda. A bullheads,
Okay.
those aren't really a sting. Those are the barbs. Because, they're catfish and they just got barbs. They don't really have a sting. We called it a sting, but they're really just barbs.
Yeah, I gotcha. I've been stung by one of them motherfuckers.
Oh, me too. I mean, kids, fishing, that's all we catch is bullheads. Hated it.
Oh, hey, little buddy.
Yeah. Well, that's because I had a pond and a little creek, and nothing was in the creek because of, all the farmland and the horses, so the horse farm right along the creek.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So I
used to like catching
basically,
crawfish though when I lived in Wisconsin. Crawfish
Oh,
were
yeah.
always fun.
oh yeah, the little crawdads, catch them all the time in the creek. That was always fun. And it's called Trout Creek. There's
Right?
not a
Where's all
single
the trout?
trout in them. Yeah,
No
not a
brookies,
trout in
no
'em.
nothing. No brookies, no browns,
There
no
used to
rainbow.
be, but that they actually made the stables for the horses that were right along the creek. They used to have to be back farther from the creek. They were right next to the creek, then they made them move it back, and now they're right back against the creek. So obviously, when they move them away, they noticed that it didn't do anything to help. It doesn't help that this
Ah.
creek runs through a whole bunch of farmland as well.
And there's
Here
that.
in this state, you grow corn and dairy.
Yep. And it might just be field corn even. It might not even be tasty corn.
Yeah, it is field corn. Yeah, it's feed corn. At least around here. To feed the cows.
Yep.
So the creek's, pretty well fucked up for quite a while. Although if I do go down the back of the woods, I can still find freshwater springs that are still bubbling up.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Yep. I just looked at the internal. I didn't even know G was in the chat. Mr. Lee.
He was, but I don't think he said anything. He just had it on.
It seemed that Glock met my demands and made more 9-round Glock 30 mags.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like I said, picked 5 of them up.
I mean, I see them on eBay now for $39.99 instead of
You're
$139.99.
saying I could have 2 for 1, man. I got mine
Right.
for 20, so if I could sell them for 40.
Well, back
Damn.
when I bought my two, they were $24.99 or something, and but on eBay they were like 100. They were like 89 to like $140 or something. It was crazy.
Were they selling though? You know what I mean? Were they selling or were they just trying to get that for them?
I didn't pay much attention.
Like what's
to
the
them.
product moving?
I wasn't like
Yeah,
watching.
I gotcha.
Yeah, by the way, when are they
I
going to
wasn't
start
paying enough.
serializing, serial numbering the magazines so that, they can crack down on magazine size
What?
restrictions?
Why are you giving them ideas?
Well, here's the other thing. Like, it's pretty easy to tell if your gun has more than 10 rounds or 7-round capability. It's especially on a Glock. They count the hole, or the holes are labeled.
I know.
I'm not saying that they're gonna check that first though, but
By the way, you only use magazines once anyway, so it won't matter if they're serialized or not. You just drop them from the mag where when you're done using it, and then leave
it's
it
like
there
a tissue. You just throw it away, right?
You just throw it away. I mean, I'm even smarter than the liberals because I figured out ways you could actually limit stuff. They want a microstand, firing pins.
Hush. Hush. All
like
that
like
noise.
anybody watches Moon Food chats when I'm in them.
Well, that ain't. I ain't saying that at all.
21
just saying-
people watch this chat
Right?
right now. And this is my separate channel. So it's exclusive to Gun Channels. Gun Channels exclusive.
Right.
Edge pre-chat.
Got to make it exclusive. I like that.
I feel bad for Dano. He's got like this upper jaw infection.
What?
Upper, he's bad tooth got infected. My guess.
Oh. I hope he's not allergic to penicillin.
I wish my doctor would prescribe me penicillin, but they always give me other crap. Penicillin works. Damn it.
Oh, I'm allergic to that shit.
Not me. I can go to Fleet Farm and buy some horse pills.
You can go to Walmart and get the damn freaking fish
Yeah,
antibiotics. For
fish.
fuck's sake.
Yep. That's a lot more expensive. That's like $8 for like
I read up
1
on that.
day's dosage.
And you're supposed to like be careful with that. You're supposed to know what you're doing. You can't just.
Oh, I would. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about antibiotics in the first place. You ain't just supposed to be taking them to take them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if it was if it's all fucked up, and I would use it sparingly. But
Yeah, like would somebody come in with a cold, the doctors would prescribe them penicillin.
no, yeah, no on that.
They
I
used to. Though.
struck
That was
throat
a
when
thing.
I got penicillin, and it made me sick for the first like 2 days, but I had to fight it because
Oh,
my
you're
throat
that
was
way?
way
Not me.
worse.
It's the pain meds that make me sick. If I get anything, any of the opiates,
Yeah, those two they make my stomach.
opiates
my
make me
stomach.
feel like I could feel pretty bad. Like I had opiates prescribed when I had a bad tooth, and I almost wanted to go through the pain instead because I felt like I had the flu for 2 weeks. The worst part of having the flu, upset stomach, headache, sweats for 2 fucking weeks. It was horrible.
Sounds like a heroin addict.
Yeah, taking whatever, 10 milligram or 5 milligram, I can't remember what milligram Oxycontin. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yes,
taking those
heroin.
once every 8 hours. The pain goes away for, I'm like, okay, pain's gone away, I'm feeling a little better, and then also my stomach starts to turn, and I'm like, start sweating, and I'm just really sick to my stomach. And then, it's like, the pain's back, but I'm feeling like crap, but I still take another one, and then it just gets worse. So I don't know what causes it, but for me, it's not good to be on pain meds. Now, if you want to give me morphine, I'll take an injection of morphine. But the last time I said, Doc, don't prescribe me pain meds, I'll just take Advil. He says, okay, you can take 4 Advil every 4 hours. I'm like, awesome! I won't be sick.
Yeah, but you got to make sure you eat some, or it'll burn a hole in your stomach.
Advil doesn't burn a hole in my stomach.
Ibuprofen will fucking definitely, yeah. There's a reason that it usually says on there to take with a meal. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen the first time or the 10th time, but over time, it's definitely a thing. All right, since we got at least 10 or 11 minutes left, say Santa Claus is real, and I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying say he is.
You trying to
And
say he's not real?
No, I didn't say that at all. And I'm saying also, on the same tip, that you must have been really, really good this year. What would you ask Santa for?
P226.
Really? Okay. And no special designation on that?
9mm. The cheapest
I know
one.
it's okay.
That's
You know,
a carry gun,
Santa's.
so I don't want the cheapest one.
I was gonna say Santa's not concerned about price, my friend. Especially, I said that
I
you've been
am.
very, very good.
I am, though, because I want to be able to carry the gun. If you get me the more expensive one, I want to carry it. So I want to be able to carry the cheapest one they make. It should be like $750, so I'd be able to carry that.
Okay.
Yes, otherwise it would end up in the safe, be petted every once in a while, and oh, you're so pretty, but I can't shoot you or use you because you're so much money.
Anything?
I'm a realist.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I was just thinking if price would matter to my carry gun if I was able to carry. And I don't know the price would be a factor.
Otherwise, I'd ask for 10,000 rounds of 9mm.
Here you go. You must have been really good. All right, that's what I'm talking about.
I want a high power.
You do not. Stop that.
Yeah.
Liar.
Right. Nah, make that 3,000 rounds. It'd be more like it. I'd like 10,000 rounds just to have 10,000
Seriously,
rounds.
though? That's what you would ask Santa for?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Maybe, if it had to be a gun.
That could be anything. I mean, short of like a tow missile or something, you know, I don't think he can give you that.
M1 Abrams.
Probably
A
an
minigun.
M1A1 for a
That's,
rifle
yep,
or a 1911.
nice. That was
Minigun.
that was definitely my choice as far as rifles go. Would be that SOCOM, and then probably I would want that TRR8. Probably if I've been that good, that's the area that I would head to. I'd say please.
Is that the one with the removable rails?
No, that's the R8. Is the no?
Okay.
Excuse me. I had it wrong. The TRR8 is the one with the removable rails, but it doesn't have polygonal rifling.
All right.
Yeah.
The
My
R8
other,
had unremovable rails and polygonal rifling.
yeah. By the way, my non-selfish gift would have been to ask for the A10 Warthog to still be in service instead
I
of
believe
being
it is.
forced out to pasture. But the federal government decided the federal government decided they needed to use it against ISIS. So
Fuck yeah, they do.
exactly. So it's back out there. Because I hate saying that ugly, ugly thing. Kind of like my gun, it's an ugly plane. Going to retirement when it's still so useful to this day.
I so don't think that that's an ugly plane. I think that is an
awesome. It's ugly.
No, wait, that is like it's like a, oh man, how would you put it? It's like a muscle-bound fucking superhero.
No, it is called Warthog because it's ugly.
It's called the Warthog because of that nose, and the sound that thing makes would put fear in the hearts of man globally.
Yeah, the plane they want to replace it with is a 35. Come on,
it don't even do the same job. Yeah, it don't even do the same job.
But that's what they're going to replace it with, was the F-35. I'm like, that thing gets shot with a 22, it's going to go into a tailspin. The A-10 can lose half its tail and half its wing and still make it back to base. I mean, you've seen some of the planes that were shot up. A-10 made it back to the base with losing one engine, half of its tail, and part of its wing.
Yeah.
The thing is built to keep our troops alive.
Well, it's built to definitely fly close support. That's for sure.
So I'm glad the federal government finally saw, I don't care if it costs our government money to keep our troops alive. That is needed on the battlefield still.
Well, think about how much they would have spent on those 35s. They would have spent way more money on that.
Yeah, exactly. Way more.
I mean, we're talking billions with a B more.
Yeah, I mean, those things are so fucking delicate and don't even provide the same support. It's not like they can, take a 50 millimeter Gatling gun down to treetop levels and
they
basically
can't
destroy
fly.
a whole place.
They can't fly slow enough to be accurate and for ground support. They can't. It's just like the physics of it make it next to impossible.
Yeah, they're basically good at dropping smart bombs, and that's it. And that's not a good, so close support airplane. I'm sorry.
Now, Ray had an interesting point. He said he always wanted Christy Brinkley. And, she's a little older these days, but I might have to give it to him. She's still kind of hot. Don't tell me I killed it with Christy Brinkley. Come on.
No, you didn't. Was it Christy Brinkley in Parks and Recreation?
I couldn't tell you. I don't watch the show.
Okay.
She's the one that was on Family Vacation.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying, I think
She's
I saw...
pretty old, man. Google her most recent image.
I will, right now.
I'm trying to remember who plays Jerry's /Larry /Terry. Yes, it's one guy with those 3 different names as part of the running joke on Parks and Rec.
All right.
It's a funny show, and
Images 2014. Let's see what we got here. I don't know. I don't know. If that cougar wanted to be my sugar mama, I don't think I would have a problem with it. At all.
Oh, let me check this out. Oh, maybe I was thinking of someone different. She's not so bad.
I hope so, because
Not bad at all.
she's not ugly.
Yeah, who was I thinking of? I was thinking of the chick from that music video. The 80s video.
Okay.
She's on the car.
That's Uptown Girl. Oh no, that's Tawny Katane. And
Yeah.
that's 50 miles of bad road right there. She has lived a hard life, that one.
I'm trying to find out what. IMDb, you are not helping me much.
And I think Cheryl Tiegs is like 60, and I'm gonna have to check that one out because I thought it was like when she wasn't she a no, she was not a Charlie's Angel. Showing some age there.
I was right. It was. Yeah, Christy Brinkley played 2 episodes. She played the wife of Gary, Larry, Terry, whatever his name was. I was right. That was Christy Brinkley that played his wife. I'm saying for somebody who was basically shown in like 2013 on television, she looked pretty good for her age.
I think she's in her mid-50s.
I cannot tell you how old she is, but
Who, Christy?
yeah, I didn't look up her date of birth because I already closed the window. I just want to make sure I was right.
Let's see. I had a friend, and she's still my friend, but her stage name was Christy B.
Yankees out there. I wonder if he's getting an invite to Edge's chat. I wonder if he'd even go to Edge's chat.
I would think so.
Because Edge never sends me invites. I gotta beg for one and then pay him to give me a link.
Let's see. She was born in 1954, so do some math, Cork. She's 60, I believe.
Right, it's about
That would
that
be
time. Anyway,
correct.
it's 10 o'clock. So I'm going to shut this down and
Bye, my name chapter.
Right.
start up. All right, everybody.
Right.
Thanks for watching
Thanks, Moon.
the early show.
Thanks for
Aloha.
having me.
No problem.